Dude, are you drunk?
Maybe.
Welcome to the Booz and Broz podcast, where hosts Matt Lytle and Chris Califf discuss everything paranormal, cryptic, horror, true crime, and of course, booze. So grab your favorite beverage and come have a drink with the Booz and Broz.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 14 of the Booz and Bros podcast, part 4 of Winter Kills. We are back after a week break, and I'm excited for this one, Califf.
Who are you speaking to? Because as far as I know, there's a tradition here at Booz and Bros.
I'm just so excited to talk about our subject.
You didn't even say your name. What about
I know, but
three
listen,
viewers you just picked up?
I'm trying to justify why I didn't say my name because A, I'm really excited to talk about this serial killer, but B, I have had my drink made for like the last 30 minutes waiting on you to get yours made, and I am so waiting to drink. I've waited so long, and I forgot to introduce myself. Like, that's what you do to me when you hold me for 30 minutes with a drink sitting right beside me. Well, I'm your host, Matt Lytle.
Last time I held you for 30 minutes, you just cried. But, you know, it was
He's
okay.
not wrong. He is not wrong. I'm your host, Matt Lytle. What's up, everybody? I got my co-host,
Uncle Fester. That was a special request for all of you out there.
I didn't think you'd do it.
Dude, my head looks like a testicle. Look, my head looks like a fucking testicle.
Dude, that is like freshly shaven.
It looks like a testy, bro. Like, look at that shit.
Are you wanting me to sit here and agree with you?
Yeah, I've got a ball for a head. Look at that. Fucking ball head.
That's why you keep the beard. That way it looks like a testy with pubes on it. I will not be putting that in. Because your beard's nice. Your beard's nice. That's not me calling you.
It's not thinking about a testicle with like a goatee. Like, welcome back to Booz and Bros. Anyway.
This is what happens when we take a week off from doing Booz and Bros. We come back and we're just like, we don't know what to say. We don't know how to introduce ourselves. We're just ready to get drunk. Are you not ready to get drunk? You're silent.
I'm trying to read your mind right now with my fucking Professor X thoughts.
You are kind of Professor X too.
Professor Triple X. Oh!
Okay. So should we just talk about the drink and talk about who we're talking about?
Talk about.
Okay.
Don't let me talk anymore. Talk about the drink.
Okay. I'm going to go on a little spiel about our alcoholic beverage. So I'm going to pull it up. A little dehydrated piss, but that's not what it is. It is called the Night Stalker, which is who we're talking about. The Netflix series is popping right now. I actually just got done watching it. Califf, I don't know if you watched it, Night Stalker on Netflix.
I don't know what poppin' means.
That is because you are an ancient mummy.
Not a mummy, no sir, but a god, yes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Eminem. Jesus Christ. So,
can I drink now?
The Night Stalker drink. We're talking about Richard Ramirez, for those of you who don't know.
It'll come into your house randomly. It's the Night Stalker.
Yep, that's right. Cheers, brother. Oh my fucking God.
I'm going to get fucked up on this one.
Okay, guys. So usually we tell you, what's in it before we take the sip, but we want to get to drinking, so we didn't. What is in this drink is...
Time out. Before I want all of you listening to this point of the podcast to jump in and jump to YouTube, to watch this on YouTube, to see just how fucking sick and tired of this shit Matt Lytle really is. The look on his face expresses it all.
No!
He's just sick of this shit. He's just sick
That's
and
not
tired.
True.
Of our
That's
26 fucking views. We need you guys. Help us.
I mean, he's right. I mean, I wouldn't use the word I am sick of, but I do really want you guys to help share, and I know a lot of you guys have, and we really appreciate that. But let's share more, because the more viewers we have, the more we want to do contests, the more, we're going to start Patreons. We want to do merch, but, we want to reach a certain number of people watching it. Can I say what's in this? I'm a little nervous. So we have Smirnoff Ice. We have vodka.
Pitch beer.
Yeah, exactly. Smirnoff Ice, which whoever actually enjoys sipping on that, I don't know why you're even watching this. Vodka. What else is in this? Oh, I put Fireball, although it's supposed to be a cinnamon liqueur. And and Jaeger, which is why it looks like piss. So all of that. I'm so nervous to drink this.
I have a confession to make.
What?
I used to love Jägermeister incredibly way too much. Some of the worst shit and best shit I've ever done is because of Jägermeister. The reason why Mina is here. Thank you, Jägermeister. Just want to let you know.
Richard Ramirez. Let's start talking about him. Let's go.
Did you, first off, I will jump in. Before we start talking about his history and his kill count and all that bullshit, have you watched any of his actual interviews?
Yes.
What a smug little cunt.
I've watched
smug
all of
fucking
them.
Bitch.
Yeah. It's there's one interview that's like pretty bad, but then I watched one actually today, and it was even further down than his first interview. And I think it was like 94. So it was like 3 years after the first one, which a lot of people have seen. And his hair's like long here. And it's awful. I mean, it's like long hair, then it's like strings. He is one hideous motherfucker. And I mean, yeah, he's so delusional, and he basically has a script. He's written down what he says to each question, and it's very, he thinks it out. So, his vocab is, high end. It makes him sound smarter.
Best feeling ever, I will say, was doing homework on this cat, right? Going through and learning about his shit. And as fucked up as it still wasn't Gacy. So that's a good start for me right now.
I don't know, man. I mean, to be honest with you, like before we really get into like obviously the facts about him, just my thought. I kind of like talking about our thoughts of what we went through, like researching these guys. I think this one was super disturbing to me, because I live where he did all of his killings. I did talk to several people who lived here in LA during the time at work, and my girlfriend's parents, all that stuff, and got their opinions and what they went through. Her parents were literally my age. They were in their mid-20s. And I mean, they were terrified because they lived in East LA. I mean, they lived like 2 blocks away from where he did one of his murders. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry, brother. Sorry. For me, you know my background. You know what I've done. You know a lot of the shit that I've been a part of. And what blows me away with this guy is that you have guys like Gacy or Holmes or Geen, and they have MOs, right? They're easily tracked once you can get behind what the fuck they're doing. The one thing, like thoughts-wise, that fucked with me about this guy, I have never, and I'm sure there's playing out there, I'm sure people in YouTube land will correct the fuck out of me, how sporadic it was. Age to age is different. What he would do was different. I mean, from strangulation to gunshots to rape to stabbing to curb stomp. Like, it's so bizarre from a law enforcement background because nothing was ever the same.
There wasn't a pattern, right?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, there was different, like you said, and when we say ages, we're not saying, oh, he did, killed people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. No, we're talking children he molested, 81 to 83-year-old women he raped. I mean, we're talking as long as people live, like the lifespan of a human being. That was his age range, it's no other serial killers like that, and your other point, he didn't only do one thing, right? He didn't only rape, kill. I mean, he would break into people's houses and he would steal shit and then leave. He would break into people's houses. He would kill people, rape them, steal from them, then leave. Every time he would break into someone's house, something different would happen. Something just disastrous and evil would happen. And like you said, that was just so hard to track, and it's so hard to understand, as I guess we'll call ourselves an audience member to this man, because we're, watching interviews and stuff. But what else is disturbing, of course, this goes along with what you and I do, is his, satanic worshiping and stuff. There's some skeptics who say, 1985, which is when he did his killings, which we'll get into. He did his killings in 1985. He did like 2 in 84, but he did 8 in 1985, and he killed almost just as much as the other guys we've talked about who killed
14 months. Yeah, that's the thing you have to think about. Is
that's it.
Yeah, 14 months of this complete. I mean, well, you can't really call it a mental breakdown, because he was still fit to stand trial, and his excuse was just that after so long, the rage just compounds, and either he would give into these desires, or the desires would crush him. That's literally how this man felt. And it's mind-boggling to think that in a 14-month span, somebody can lose their mind like this and is capable of doing some of the heinous shit he did. I remember one of the interviews I watched, they were talking to a detective, and they go, "What do you think his motive was?" The detective looks right at the camera and goes, "To kill." It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the two detectives who worked his case the whole time. Yeah, the white guy. He said, "Yeah, I remember that interview."
Big old,
Yeah. He said to kill. To kill. That was his motive. And I've never, out of all the research you and I have done with serial killers and stuff, I've never seen a detective answer like that. Most of the time, it's like, well, blah 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 blah. Well, he was like, to kill. And that was disturbing in itself. Going back to what I was going to say, is skeptics believe with his Satanism, just thrown into all the other crazy shit about Richard, Ramirez, is some of them say, 1985 was like a big, like, I don't necessarily know how it was in 85, but it was really like trendy, I guess, to kind of be a Satan worshiper, or, what I mean? Like metal was starting to come to America, all this, all that.
Don't you put metal in with Satan?
But it's truth. It's the truth. No, I mean, that's what this.
Satan likes smooth jazz.
I was just sitting there like imagining the devil just being like some Kenny G. You know what I mean? Like I can actually see that. I feel like that's Crowley on Supernatural. I feel like he's more of like the Satan you're talking about. Crowley's a smooth jazz guy. But that's so basically what I'm saying is skeptics think that Richard Ramirez was like, oh, it's popular, so I'm going to act like, but I don't think so. Out of all the interviews I saw of him and all the stories I've heard about him, this guy literally was truly a Satan worshiper. I mean, he even went to, what's his face? Like the king of
Anton LaVey.
Yeah, he even went to LaVey's, one of his gatherings or whatnot up in San Francisco before he really, became a Satanist. And, with what you and I do, we ghost hunt. Obviously, we run into the darker stuff. So you add that type of energy, which you and I know very well, that dark energy, into what he was doing. It's just a whirlwind of just bad, for lack of a better word.
Or that's what powered him. That could very well be what powered him. You know what I mean? We often find in life some of the most strongest and the most fucked up people run hand in hand because of what their convictions and what it is that powers them. This falls back into episode 2, Good and Evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dude didn't think what he was doing from his perception was necessarily bad, right?
Not at all.
This dude is fulfilling an impulse, right? Us as rational human beings know that, okay, fucking kicking a 65-year-old lady in the face repeatedly until she dies is not a good thing, regardless of your impulse. I've never sat here and been like, fuck, grandma didn't make me cookies, I'm going to curb stomp her. You know what I mean? It's not that rational thought.
Right.
It's definitely like with this cat, like, and how smug he was. Oh God, it pissed me off just how fucking smug he was.
Yeah. piggybacking off what you just said, he actually was interviewed by Maury back in 91 or something. And he said kind of what you just said. He said, Richard Ramirez said, all human beings have evil in them and all human beings have the ability to kill. And Maury's like, no, Maury literally was like, no, no. He was like, hey, Richard, no, no. And then it like showed the audience and they're like, no. And he's like, yes. He's like, and then he said something about just because you don't kill, everyone thinks you're a better person. You're the bigger person. He's like, that's not what I think. And I'm like, this guy is so
But he's
delusional.
right. He's right in a weird way because we're the only, you look at like any other species of things, right? So you look at the wolf. They kill primally, right? They kill over territory or food or mates or whatever have you. Us as humans, we're the only fucked up people that kill for sport, right? But he has a point. Everybody has the possibility to do something really shitty. We all have evil because you cannot theoretically have one without the other. Do I think people are born serial killers? No, because clearly, as we'll get into, there's a lot of shit that ramps that up. But to think that, you as Matt Lytle, you might not want to kill somebody, but put yourself in an emotionally compromising situation. Somebody's got your lady, has a gun to her fucking head. The only way you save her is to put a bullet in that person's head. What are you going to do?
Oh, I'll put a bullet in their head.
Because
But here's the thing, and you would too. But
yeah.
But we also, I'm actually kind of feeling tipsy already. Swear to God, dude. I'm over here like, whoa. And what you just said is like,
our
so
buddy
like
Ricky
deep.
Ramirez is coming into a philosophical debate, so let's fucking dance. I love it. See, this is in true Bruise and okay, I'm apparently
Bruise and Bros.
Yeah, I'm apparently getting a little bit tipsy too.
What are we, 10 minutes in?
In true fashion of this fucking podcast, this is why I love what we do. Because it's never just one thing. You start with somebody like Richard Ramirez and all the shit that he did, and then it becomes something so much more philosophical. And that to me is great. Hashtag butt stuff for all those listening.
Oh God, hashtag the good buzz already. So I kind of want to talk about this guy's childhood. So first off, I want to say, again, this documentary on Netflix, and this is not why we're doing this we're doing serial killers because of us and because of Booze and Bros Winter Kills. But it just so happens that this Richard Ramirez, Night Stalker, on the hunt for a serial killer, whatever, is popular right now. If you guys have seen it, a lot of people, what about
the two other movies that were made about him and the two other documentaries and then the other documentary?
Right, exactly. And what about his two showings on American Horror Story? Yeah, we can go on, but I'm just saying, right now, a lot of people think that a lot of people are pissed. I'm not pissed about it because if you really want to know, you research it. But a lot of people are pissed that this documentary didn't go into Richard Ramirez's childhood a whole lot. I guess it was episode 4 and there's 4 episodes. So episode 4, they talked about it for literally the first 5 minutes and they were done. And a lot of people are like, well, the build up to why he did all this, it's important to throw in his childhood and all this and all that. And I'm like, not necessarily. And that's not what the director went for. But having said all that, I want to talk about his childhood a little bit because I want to get your opinion, Califf, on, was he born? What age do you think he literally snapped and became a killer? So this kid was like every single fucking serial killer, abused by his dad. Richard had 4 siblings and they were all beaten by his dad. His dad was never around. And when he was, he beat the shit out of him. His mom was a full-time employee somewhere. So they were never home. The kids basically took care of each other as kids. They did have older cousins, which leads me to Richard Ramirez's older cousin, which I think is what really made him snap. His name is Mike. This guy went to war, the Vietnam War, and would, tell Richard, and Richard was 6, 8, 9, 10 years old, right? Richard would sit there, smoke pot at that age with this guy, Mike, and Mike would tell him all these war stories of killing and how to be sneaky and how to fight. But the most disturbing part was he would show Richard Polaroids of the women that Mike cut their heads off and raped and all of that. And he would laugh about it. And he would tell Richard how he did it and how good it felt. And Richard's 10 years old and he's, smoking some dope, and Richard loved it. And that's what he really found that not just interesting, but as he got older, 12, 13, when you hit puberty, you start kind of feeling it. You know what I mean? He really had these sexual desires that his cousin Mike was talking about, right? So what happened to his cousin Mike, Richard was in the kitchen with Mike and his wife's 2 kids. And I guess Mike's wife said, you know what, dude, you got to get a job. You know what I mean? Like you have to take care of your family. Richard's living with us too. Like we got to take care of these kids. And apparently Mike, super fucked up guy, takes a 38 out, boom, blasts her in the head. She's dead right in front of the kids. And so he goes to prison. They say, you don't belong here. You belong in a mental hospital. So he was there for 4 years. When that was happening, nothing eased up on Richard. He went and lived with his sister. Well, his sister had a husband who was a fucking obsessive peeking Tom. He would take Richard, and again, Richard was 13, 14 years old, on these peeping Tom, nighttime stalks of these neighbors, watching all these women get undressed and dressed, having sex, all these men jerking it, whatever the fuck have you. And that, continued Richard's mindset of becoming what he came, Mike got out of the mental hospital, and, Richard was back with him, being influenced by Mike. And so LSD happened. Richard started doing a lot of that. He did a lot of, acid. He did basically every drug you can think of. And all of that went by. Richard was around 20 years old and worked at a Holiday Inn. And he he started stealing. That's when he started, stealing a lot, went into rooms, stole all these people's whatever have you. But the thing that was really fucked up, and what really, 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 I think started, Richard Ramirez's sadistic, soul, is he used one of his room key passes at the Holiday Inn, and he tried to rape a woman. The woman's boyfriend or husband came in and beat the shit out of Richard and threw him out. Obviously, Richard got fired, moved to California at 22. That's Richard's childhood. Is there any part of that, Califf, A, that you think's normal? B, where do you think in age? What do you like? Just tell me your overall thoughts about how fucked up that is. While I drink.
So I'm starting to see a pattern. The pattern and the randomness of his selection, kills, and so forth, so on. When, like with the peeping Tom stuff, that opens your head up to a whole different kinds of victim demographic. Most guys that are out there raping and killing, stuff like that, it's like it's somebody that caused them some kind of trauma. But it seems like he was trying to be these negative people. Like maybe his mind wasn't fully developed enough that he attached these personas he thought meant something so much more to him. And then with that, proceeded to act it out. When do I think this cat snapped?
So we know, let me put this in your head real quick. So we know Gacy snapped after his first kill. You remember the quote that Gacy said, right? That's when he snapped and became what he was. But I feel like Ramirez, it wasn't his first kill that led him to be like, oh, I want to be a serial killer. What do you think?
The scary part about this cat, I don't think he ever snapped. I don't think that there was one trigger that put him on this path. Because the way he talks and the way he walks and what he did, I mean, dare I say the cat was soulless from the jump.
Yeah, I agree. He had 2 very, very serious head injuries too. He was 6 and I think he was like 3 years old or something. And I guess it like damaged his brain. So one thing I want to add about his childhood too, besides his head injuries and his dad, this is just because it's fucked up. His dad tied him to a cross gravestone in a cemetery and left him there all night when he was like 6 years old. Like that's the kind of abuse and torture that Richard and his siblings went through. Pretty bad. So back to everything. So that's his childhood. That's the way he was raised. And, you know, I completely agree with you. I think he was soulless from the start. I think he was evil from the start. We can get into his kills. I think that I'm gonna pull up my phone real quick because I want to read some of his first kills and just how I think the writing was well, and I think it's very disturbing. So I'm gonna do what I did with Ed Gein. Okay. So a lot of people say that his first kill was June 28th of 1984, 79-year-old woman. But 2009, they found DNA from Richard in a case from April 10th, 1984 in San Francisco with this 9-year-old little girl that was murdered. So they're basically chalking it up as, oh, that was a Night Stalker too. So here you go. On April 10th, 1984, Ramirez murdered a 9-year-old Chinese-American Muyao Lang in the basement of the hotel that he was living in a district in San Francisco. He raped and beat the girl before stabbing her to death and hanging her body from a pipe. This is Ramirez's first known killing. So yes, they did, 2009. So they did convict him of that. Now his second kill, which was the June 28th one, 79-year-old Jenny Vincow was found brutally murdered in her apartment in Los Angeles. She had been stabbed repeatedly while asleep in her bed, and her throat was slashed so deep that she was basically decapitated. Ramirez's fingerprint was found on a mesh screen that he moved to gain access through an open window. Why didn't that fucker wear gloves? Stupid. March 17th, 1985, Ramirez attacked a 22-year-old Maria Hernandez outside her home in Rosemead, California, shooting her in the face with a .22 caliber handgun after she pulled into the garage. The chick just pulled into her garage after a day of work or whatever and saw this man, tall, skinny, ugly ass, creepy ass man with a gun, and she just gets shot in the face. Like, can you imagine, dude? And that's the fucking thing about these kills. It's not like, you know, you have kind of been preparing for it. It's not like you had 30 minutes to fight it off or to run. I mean, you literally are going through your day, watching TV or pulling into the garage or cooking dinner, sleeping in your freaking bed. Next thing you know, you wake up and you're dead, dude, or you're getting raped. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. So
he reminds me of what happens. He reminds me of what happens when kids play Grand Theft Auto.
Like how the kids like do that to the people in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like, we laugh about it because it's Grand Theft Auto. It's like, oh, this would never happen. Well, guess what? It did happen. And it's called the fucking Night Stalker, the walk-in killer. Like, that shit happened. Like, Richard Ramirez did exactly that. And he stayed at the Cecil Hotel, which is downtown, during a lot, because the man was poor. And the only way he made money was from, obviously robbing people, and then killing them and then raping them. But yeah, that's another big part about him. A lot of people say that his ghost haunts the Cecil Hotel or is in there. I don't know about that. I think the motherfucker's in hell. But hey, a lot of people say that.
If he's there, I'll be down in LA here real quick and Senior Ricky. Let's fucking dance. Okay, I'm gonna drink while you do this.
Yeah, please drink. March 27th, 1985, Ramirez entered a home.
Bro, I'm on number 2.
You're on number 2 already? What the fuck? Okay, reading these are tough.
Bro, I'm feeling kind of good right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
When I go make my second one, I'm not gonna put Fireball in it.
Who would win? H.H. Holmes' mustache or Ramirez's fucking hair?
Dude, have you seen Ramirez's hair when he's in trial? Like when it grows out and it's like bushy? I would still say the mustache. That's what's fucked up. You know what? Let's get into that.
Ramirez's money and then killed him.
Yeah. That fucking bitch. I would still beat up Gacy, though. I'd still beat the shit out of 5'9" plump Gacy. Yeah. Ramirez, I'd be like, Ramirez wouldn't even be worth it to me.
I would beat Gacy with Ramirez.
There you go. Use Ramirez as a little stick.
While Ed Gein may be a nice nipple belt.
God, you and the nipple belts.
I just kind of want one, man. I can't like.
Why are you so? That's so weird.
It's a nipple belt, man. Leave me the fuck alone. Don't judge me. Don't fucking judge me on this. I'm not talking.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't know, dude. Ramirez would probably just have his 22 that he. That's the thing about him, dude. He is as good of a killer as he was, and I put that in air quotes. This dude wore the same.
I want to clarify this right now.
What?
No, I want to make this clear. It's not that he was a good killer, but you said it best when you talked about his third kill with Hernandez pulling into a driveway. He was an opportunistic killer, and like his fucking celly said, he was a fucking coward.
Yep, the guy with the long ponytail.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
was so happy when he said that. Yeah, he's a douche. But at least he called Ramirez a coward.
Some broad point blank in the face when she pulls into her garage, not giving her a fucking chance.
Well, plus he killed people in their sleep, man. There was a man in the bed. He would shoot him because he didn't want to fight him. And then, yeah, he would beat the shit out of the woman, however that was, with a freaking tire iron, whatever tool he used, which he used multiple ones, and then he'd rape her. I just feel, oh my gosh, watching that documentary, seeing the family members of these people who were brutally murdered, I cannot imagine. And this guy was talking about how he had to clean up his mom's own blood. And it wasn't just like a swipe. We're talking like he had to like clean all her blood up. And he said he couldn't do it. He had to tell his brother, look, man, I gotta fucking go. Like, go away. And the brother's like, all right, I'm gonna do this for you. But
it reminds me of fucking.
Can you imagine that?
Who was it that was Gein? The sheriff that had his mom gutted that he found.
Yeah, exactly. Very heartbreaking. One of the worst scenarios. Go ahead.
I don't. Serial killers have never been a big thing for me, so I'm not one of the guys that sit here and does the fucking serial killers and chill and all that type of bullshit. It's just not my thing. Never has been my thing. And the last couple of weeks as we've been doing this, I've been doing a lot of research on serial killers and clearly do all of our homework and whatnot to be as semi-educated as we can be. Like, holy fuck.
It's not easy. Like you know, we're on episode 4 now. We got a couple more to go, but you know, researching these serial killers, it's not fun. You know, it's interesting, but it's not fun.
Big up to the detectives who have to live with this shit and fucking slowly go crazy inside as they fucking deal with people like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big ups to people like Benny P who were taken too soon, you know, and all the family members of people that were lost. You know, because like you look at Benny P, like just go back to home for a second. Benny P. Benny P was fortunate to be taken when he was, if you think about it. Because then what did Holmes do? Took out his wife and then all of his kids.
He died before. You know what I mean? Yeah, he could be. Yeah. He didn't die in misery. He just died.
Yeah. And you have all these people that fucking Ramirez is killing, making sons clean up their mother's blood, fucking hanging a 9-year-old girl from a pipe. I thought Gacy was bad, and I still do. Don't get me fucking wrong. But this dude is the same level of fucked up as Gacy.
So when Ramirez was in prison, this man came out to a reporter and told them some things that Ramirez said to him. You know what one of those things were? You know, and I quote Ramirez, you know, I really like and really enjoy when I shoot people, and I love watching them squirm until they're dead. He sat there and shot his victims and would sit there and laugh and enjoy it. This man, one of his cases, he fucking went in, killed the husband, raped the wife, the motherfucker stole everything, and because out of spite, he masturbated in their living room and then left the scene. I mean, he was all sorts of fucked up. He didn't care. If he was horny, he would do it. I'm telling you, man. And there was one survivor who, yeah, okay, so listen to this story too. This is part of the documentary. This lady was in her hot tub having a party, right? And this was about 2 a.m. They were wrapping things up, 2:30 a.m. They were wrapping things up, and she gets a call from her neighbor. She's like, yeah, this is fucking weird. So she's like, yeah, what's up, Betty, or whatever her name was. She's like, hey, I've just been raped. The guy's on the loose, blah, 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 blah. And so this lady was like, I'm sitting there thinking, I was in my hot tub with friends, and my neighbor was getting raped right next door upstairs. And I knew that she was up there, and she was getting raped by Richard Ramirez. He didn't kill her. Don't know why. But that's the thing, is he didn't just go in and kill 14 people like they say. He raped way more people. He probably killed way more people. And that's why I say he's up there with Gacy. There's a lot of shit Ramirez did. I think he killed before 85, which he was 25 years old. I think he killed in his early 20s. He just had never been caught. You know, he's from El Paso, Texas. His brother lived in Arizona.
This guy clearly fed on impulse. Like, it was clearly this is my urge. This is what I'm gonna, like, it was a violent urge or a rage urge. He's gonna beat the fuck out of something. If it was a sexual urge, I'm gonna fucking, fuck somebody. Like, you talk about the killing the dude and then beating the fuck out of the wife, robbing him, and then leaving the house, right? He didn't kill the wife, did he?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. And then
You talking about the neighbors? The lady?
No, I'm talking about the beating the dick in the living room.
Oh no, he killed both of them.
Okay. So that impulse is, I just killed them, suddenly I'm horny from killing them, I'm gonna beat my dick. He seemed like a very impulse-driven person.
I think he was. 100% I think he was. He was a very impulse killer. I want to talk about how drunk we are.
You said something before we started this podcast that I wanted to touch base on. Because I'm a little bit buzzed, so I'm going to stop and say...
The good buzz, hashtag.
Booze and Bros. No, this is the good fucked up hashtag. This is the shit that would, like, if we were on the road, like, this is the kind of night where, like, I'd be fighting a homeless person or something like that. It would just be that kind of night.
But why would you fight a homeless person?
Because maybe I want a cigarette. Or maybe I wanted his coat.
But wouldn't he want your cigarette or your coke? Because he's the homeless one.
Anyway, moving forward.
We're fucked up, dude.
What was I fucking saying?
Oh, by the way, I made a second drink, so we paused. So if it's a weird edit, the reason why is because I paused it and because I had to make another drink.
This is only the YouTube side. The audio side, you guys don't even fucking care. But the YouTube side, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, you said something about fucking he killed Tinkerbell.
Who, Ramirez?
Yeah.
Guy we're talking about?
Yeah, fucking hair boy, They can grow luscious locks and kill fucking people, and I can't even grow hair.
Well, you know what? At least you didn't rape kids.
That's true.
Yeah.
Him and Casey have that.
Yeah, I think you have a leg up on him. So, all right. So we've talked about his childhood, his murders, what we think his motives were, blah, blah, blah. Time to talk about how this fucker got caught, because this is, in history, this is probably the biggest, most important citizen's arrest that there ever was. But before I get into that, this man ended up going up to San Francisco and killing a man named Peter Pan. A lot of people have speculation that the reason he killed this man is because I keep calling him Rodriguez.
Time out.
What? I was on a roll.
That's cool. You can roll all you want.
Damn right I can.
So he killed Peter Pan.
I'm not laughing.
That's
at the
new.
murder.
That's new for me. Like, I don't know how to take this in. Did he like when he got killed? Did he like spray like pixie dust everywhere? Like, how did his little like green hat fall to the? What happened?
You were awful.
What happened?
You're an awful person. So Peter Pan.
He didn't want to grow up. He didn't want to grow up.
Dude, Richard Ramirez said, "Hey, Peter Pan, you don't want to grow up." Blah. It's not funny. We're so sorry,
Tinkerbell
guys.
slow-mo. Ding, ding, ding,
Bro.
ding, ding, ding. Because you can't hear talking to
Dude.
the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
But seriously, though, they say that he killed Peter Pan up in San Francisco because he knew that they were like, I'm not fucking kidding you. His name is Peter Pan. All right? Get past that.
I don't know if I'm choking up my pride or whatever the fuck, but he killed Peter Pan in San Francisco.
Yeah. And the reason why is because Ramirez apparently was obsessed with Disneyland. So he
That's
literally
actually
planned to kill
actually
a character from Disneyland.
It's actually fucked up. He said, you know what his last words were?
Who?
Fucking
Peter Pan?
No. Peter Pan's last words were Wendy. Anyway,
We're awful. We literally took a break to get another drink, and now we're just fucked up.
talking shit. His last words were something to the effect of, "My life doesn't mean anything to me. Fuck you. I'll see you in Disneyland." Like his last
Exactly.
words had, yeah.
He was
His last
obsessed
word-
with Disneyland. Isn't that weird? Not really,
Yeah,
because it's him.
Peter Pan. He killed Peter Pan, the motherfucker.
He ended up
Okay.
doing that, right? He killed
God.
Peter Pan. God. Okay. So he was up there killing Peter Pan. We can't get past this part.
How do you kill Peter? Like, how Hook tried for so long and couldn't do it. How does fucking Ricardo Ramirez, whatever the fuck his name is, how does this dude be the one that ends the legend of Peter Pan?
Have you listened to what we've been talking about the last 40 minutes?
Peter Pan is invincible.
Not to Richard Ramirez.
Apparently, that's the fucking Kryptonite Neverland right there. Kryptonite of Neverland is fucking Richard Ramirez.
It's the rapist, molester, burglar, whatever you want to call him, Richard Ramirez. So he did that. And wait, where was I going with all this? Okay, he had that kill in San Francisco. I think that was his last kill. Maybe that's what I was going with. While he was up there, the police found out, who it was, that his name was Richard Ramirez. They got a fingerprint as well right before that from a rented car. I guess Ricky Ramirez tried to break into a place, and it didn't happen because the husband of that household beat the fuck out of him, and Richard ran. Well, the guy saw the car that Richard stole and got the license plate number and everything. Cops found that car and found the
But you know what
fingerprints
Ramirez
on the
did?
fucking mirror.
You know what Ramirez did? This is the one story about this piece of shit that I was like, no way. So this kid, like 13 years old, somewhere in there, is working on his mini bike in the garage. And he hears somebody walking up the fucking steps, right? So he fucking goes out and he sees Ramirez. Ramirez sees him and fucking runs. Dude fucking tries to, get the car, make, model, all that stuff. Ramirez flips a bitch, drives back by, and makes eye contact with the kid. And drives by. And then goes 2 blocks up and kills somebody else. Breaks into their house and kills somebody else.
Wait, what kill was that?
Close to his last. Like second to last, third to last.
Okay, so that was right before. So that was probably the same car then that I'm talking about.
He left a boot print. It was the because the boot print they found, it was after the old lady that he curb stomped, because he left a boot print when he ran away from that house that then in turn matched the boot print on the side of the face of the old lady.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too that we haven't gotten into is a lot of the evidence against, and there was a lot of evidence eventually against Ramirez, is his shoe print. He wore the same fucking shoes because he was too poor, I guess too dumb to go buy new shoes. And not every single kill that he had, but like half of the kills he had, he left shoe prints in the mulch or the dirt, woman's face, whatever it was. And that was one way he was identified. Isn't that crazy? But then like I was saying, in this stolen car, they found fingerprints on the rear view mirror. And they were like, boom, we got your fingerprints, motherfucker. And then that's when Ramirez was up in San Francisco killing our friend Peter Pan. and they got his name from
You know
one
what,
of
Peter
Richard
P.
Ramirez's friends.
Peter P. and Benny P. We got you.
We got you. That's what I'm saying, right? And so here's how he got captured, bro. He was down in Arizona visiting his brother. His brother had no idea, you know, he was murdering people and stuff. And so he came back up to LA on August 31st, and he went into a liquor store. Heyo. He went into a liquor store. That was an excuse for me to drink.
Okay,
And
sweet.
he saw all of these. He saw his face on the front of the newspaper, front page, around all these, you know, polls with his fucking face printed on it. And there was these probably 4 or 5 old Hispanic women, and that were saying, I don't know how to say it in Spanish, but killer, that's the killer, that's the killer. And he was like, oh shit. So he got in his car and fucking took off and ran. Or no, he didn't get in a car. He just ran. And he was going through neighborhoods, jumping fences. And then he tried to steal a car on the freeway from a woman. And there was a bunch of people in a neighborhood that he was jumping fences through that were chasing him. And so he was running from them, and eventually they caught up with him. And one of the guys had a fucking metal pole and fucking hit him across the back of the head with it and beat his ass. And they literally beat the fucking shit out of him until the cops came. And so when you see the video, there's footage, not of the beating, but of, you know, this happening. They bandage Ramirez up really bad. I mean, his like whole head is covered because they beat the shit out of him because they knew he was a killer. And so he got in the cop car. He was caught. It was the man, It was a killer. And that night, all the citizens of all these neighborhoods that Richard Ramirez was stalking and killing in had parties, bonfires. I don't know about bonfires. It's LA. But parties, drinking, kids were out, you know, playing games, all this. I mean, it was a freaking holiday when they caught him. And I mean, it was like a sweet, sweet victory when that motherfucker was beaten and caught by these citizens.
Okay. Well, with that, it's now last call here at Booz and Bros.
Oh, here we go. Last call.
Call it motherfucking Booz and Bros.
Last call at this motherfucker, dude. Close this bar down, motherfucker.
With this, I want to say that 4 in a Winter kills, and I feel like an even shittier human for having to sit through these fucking stories, this fucked upness. Can we do witches? Like, when we go back to regular shit, can we start off with witches?
Yeah, I'm down. I would love to do witches. Are you kidding me? I love witches.
You actually want to do witches, or you want to like do a podcast on witches?
Both.
Hey. Anyway. Oh yeah, last call. Fuck. Sorry. Anyway. Fucking last call here at Booz and Bros. I've said it like 4 times now, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Last call. Anyway, moving forward, Matthew Lytle. You're the. So we have tradition here at Booz and Bros on last call for the 7th time. Hashtag last call. That I get to ask you a question at last call because it's last call.
Of course. Stop saying last call.
Last call, Booz and Bros. Anyway, if you watch any episode, I'm like, it's last call. Last call, last call, last call, last call. Anyway.
Dude, I'm like, half the episodes, I'm like, dude, you already said last call. And you're like, last call. Fuck.
All right. So my question for you during last call. Cheers, last call. By the way. Cheers, last call. You're that kid in the garage working your bike, and you see this cat walking up. What do you do?
Am I 13 years old?
Yeah, but you're you in a 13-year-old spot. This could be bad.
Fuck.
You're you in a 13.
I mean, if it was me, like me, dude, Ramirez is done. But if I'm 13
I don't
years
know,
old,
man. That 22 was fierce.
Wait, 22.
It's 22. His little 22 pistol. Pew pew pew.
Oh yeah. Well, no shit. That's true. If I was that 13-year-old and that happened, I probably would have done what a 13-year-old did. Nothing.
I'd be disappointed because I'd be like, "That's the Night Stalker, really? That guy? Like that thing? Is it like?" Because the thing you have to remember, right? So you look at like a Gacy or H.H. Holmes, that mustache, right? Fucking like that was fear. Like That was physical fear manifested on his upper lip. These guys are fucking scary. Geen looked like he was a fucking methed out truck driver, but you look at all these guys. I look at Ramirez, and you're like, it puts the lotion on the skin. Like,
bro, I don't know, man. I like, to be honest with you, I'm gonna disagree. I think out of all of them, I think Ramirez is probably the most intimidating because a lot of people say, you know, when a lot of people went to that courtroom, and a lot of people say when he walked in the room, you could just feel how fucking evil that man was and how piercing his evil black eyes were. You know what I mean? So I'm going to disagree. I think Ramirez, out of everybody we talked about, is the most intimidating looking. And it's not even just looking, it's his energy, you know? He's pure fucking evil, man.
He did some fucking heinous shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about a lot of serial killers have done a lot of heinous shit. And our next two are going to be the fucking top two of absolute heinous shit. What gets me on this one, a 9-year-old girl. Okay. Gacy did some fucked up shit. Geen fucked up shit. Holmes fucked up shit. But to murder a little girl and then to stage her body like a suicide. You died of fucking lung cancer at 54 or some shit like that?
Yeah, he died of like B-cell lymphoma.
And I hope it was the most painful fucking thing he could have gone through. But to see that and to hear that the night he was caught, that people rejoiced and people were able to come together and fucking take that back and be like, you know what, fuck him, is great. But it also shows you how one person can change everything. And that's the scariest part of this whole fucking Winter Kills thing. If I've taken one thing away from these last 4 episodes and then into the next 2, one person, they say one person can't change the world for good, right? It takes a team effort to create big change in the world that's good. But it takes one to change the world for bad. And that's the heartbreaking piece that I've realized through this entire fucking stretch of Winter Kills.
Yeah,
these people
and that goes back to good versus evil. It does. Yeah. It's so much easier to be negative, be bad. You know, negativity gets way more attention than positivity. You know what I mean? Positivity, if somebody tries to make your day better or whatever, it's like, okay, cool, thanks. But if somebody tries to make your day bad or worse, it's just so much heavier. And that's, I don't know. I'm drunk, dude.
Maybe after Winter Kills, that's something we revisit. Maybe it's time to revisit Good versus Evil Part 2.
Maybe, dude. Maybe.
I want a nipple belt.
You're fucking weird. Why do you say that? Fucking fucked up, dude.
I kind of hope at one point one day some fan like randomly sends me a nipple belt. I can be like, Matt, you will never guess what I got in the mail today.
I literally will cancel Booze and Bros if that happens. And I will probably not be friends with you anymore. So all of you women and men who love Califf and want to send him a nipple belt, please, God, don't. Please don't. But it would be very entertaining if he did. So, okay, on that note, I gotta go. This is like last time. This is worse than last time. I gotta go, dude. I'm so tanked right now. I'm tanked. So
thank you very much for choosing Booze and Bros. Have a great week, and we'll catch up with you more winter. We'll catch up with more Winter Kills here soon. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, eat me, #butt stuff.
See you next week.